Reloading with analog scales, the old type, cantilever, lever, whatever you want to call them, balance scales, that sort of thing. First things first, set your weight to 0. I hope you can see where we have 0 on the big block, and this one, set that to 0 there, and this little one here, which you use for doing point whatever of a grain, set that to 0. You can see the scale is now swaying about all over the place. These things, I mean, they're so sensitive. Honestly, the sensitivity of these things makes millennials look stable. I'm hoping a fair few of you will get that joke. Anyway, you can see we're bouncing about a bit, but we are not returning to 0 over here. And that is what this wheel here is for. So once it stabilizes, come on, stabilize. Okay, you can start to wind the wheel. You can bring the adjustment up. There we go. And we're in line. We've zeroed it. And what you can do with the scales, bear in mind you're going to be looking down at it, so then you can zero it how it looks when you're looking down at it. But the height I'm at, that's fine. So now we set our weight. For me, this is going to be a load that I've developed, so it is 32 grains. So we set the big one to 30. This is something that really bothers me about reloading scales and makes me think they've just taken scales meant for another purpose and repurposed them. Why does it go up to 500 grains when I'm not going to exceed 50 ever? It bothers me. I'm sorry to say, it does bother me. Anyway, we are now set to 32. We have 2 over here. We have 30 here. So, as you can see, we're well down there. And now I position my trickler here. Now, the way I do it, I fill the trickler completely up. Get myself a scoop. Go in. Good scoop. In. I'm watching to see whether the balance starts to lift as I'm pouring. Yes, it has, and we've gone over. Now, never, I know people who do this, who reload that, oh, well, it's gone past now, so it's fine. No, it's not fine. It's not fine. Really isn't. So you can see I didn't have to take much out at all then to get the scale back down to 0. This is when you start to use the trickler. It will respond, I mean, weird things. You can twist it anti-clockwise and it'll tip. You can twist it clockwise and it'll tip. Or trickle, should that be. And here we go. So we are just putting a few grains in and each time, and you can see balance is starting to lift. So slow it down. A few turns more. Come on. Come on. Oh, we're almost there. There we go. Almost. Couple more. There we go. Pretty damn good to me. But then again, I am blind, apparently. Right, so there we go. So now I move the trickler to one side. I grab my full-sized case here, which I have chamfered the neck inside and out of. Put the primer in. Grab that. I have a funnel set up over here. Set funnel. So I've got my case. Take the, whatever you want to call it, out the scales, tip it in. Give your funnel a tap, because it's plastic, you get a bit of static and some grains will stick. We're okay. Take it away and pop it over here. Pop your tray back on. And there you go. Now, you may think reloading process is you take a bullet through each stage in one. No, do it in batches. I've just weighed out 10, and I'm only doing 10 with this powder, with this weight and this head. So now I'm going to put the heads in. This is where I'm probably going to cause a bit of controversy. For my bullet seating, I actually use one of these Lee hand presses, and I like it. so I really like it. Yeah, it works. Oh. I'm using a Lee die as well, and I think that's a Lee case holder, shell holder, whatever you want to call it there. I can't actually remember. No, I don't think it is. I think it's actually RCBS. Nice. Anyway, here we go. Now, I didn't know these things existed, and a guy up at the shooting range was using one on the range, and I thought, God, that's so much easier than having one of them huge presses. So I went with it. Now, don't go thinking that I use this for the full length sizing. I don't. I literally only use this for bullet seating. How does it work? You get your case, pop it in shell holder like that, and lift. Obviously, you put a bullet head in. That was a crap demonstration. We will demonstrate it properly in a moment. Right, proper demonstration. Here are our heads. So grab your press. This is going to be quite awkward trying to show it in front of the camera. Pop your case in. Give sufficient room for the head. There we go. And lift. And it's as easy as that. Now, obviously that's not seated properly. I've wound the die right the way out because I've been developing various loads for 308, 762. This is actually a 762 load for use in my 1950 Parker Hale T4. So the actual action on it, number 4 Mark II, was made in 1950, and it was converted to a T4, which is a heavy 762 barrel at some point, 60s, 70s, 80s. I need to look into it and, you know, be a bit more knowledgeable about that point. But yeah, it's basically an old target rifle. I tell you what, it does well. There we go. I'm just doing some nice loads for it. Going to be doing quite a few, loading up 50 rounds for it, various heads, but I'm just going to guide you through this particular one. Right, what are we going to do? You need an overall length, or if you want to be posh, you can do, come here, come here. There we go. You can do base to ogive using one of these, comparator. We're going to do both in this video. First I'll show you overall length and I'll say why it's not the best method. Then I'll show using the comparator. At some point I will get the actual full comparator, which is... Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Which is quite fiddly to get out. Here we go. I will get this out. And I will get the modified case out, and I will measure the jump to the lands and position the head accordingly, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to at the moment because last time I loaded this up, it actually did really well. And I was getting 1 MOA using an ancient target rifle. Oops, I did that load of good. PPU heads, 140, that says 145, these are actually 146 grain heads, and N120 powder. Yeah, it just worked, so I'm quite happy with that. Right, where is my vernier? This probably sounds atrocious. I'm gonna have to edit the hell out of this video. Okay. Come on, vernier. Ah, cool. Cool me. Here we go. Right, there's my vernier. On. Right, what was the overall length going to be for this? It was 2.783 inches. Well, we're well over that at the moment. This is a nice vernier. This is my father-in-law's vernier. Father-in-law passed away. It's very sad. It actually was. He had a stroke. It was pretty horrendous, to be honest. We're currently at, oh, the battery's going this, 2.9070. So obviously we need to wind that die in a bit. I'll tell you what, you would be amazed how much you have to wind it in to get 10 thou. Let's see, it's probably going to be about, I think that's a good start. Okay, oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so you can feel now, bit of resistance. So it is popping it a bit further in. Let's give that a measure. We are now at 2.873, and we need to be at 2.783. That's crazy. It's a good guess though, wasn't it? So let's do about, I'm hoping that's about 5 thou. A lot less resistance that time. Put that on my legs. We are at 2.86. So that didn't do much at all. What? Let's go check the 0 on this. Yeah, it's still zeroed. Okay. Just keep on checking. Check, 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 check. Whole time with your stuff. 2.86. So we're getting there slowly. Probably overwound it. One thing I did notice about this load was that when it was in there at the recommended overall length, you could still see the crimp line there. Just one of them things. Didn't harm the load. It wasn't difficult to insert into the chamber. But I tell you what, when I tried stepping it up to 33 grains of powder, the bolt was pretty difficult to open afterwards. Amazing how much difference 1 grain makes. 2.81, keep going. Now, everybody who's fuming and saying, don't use overall length, use base to ogave, I agree. It is much better. Far better way of doing it. 2.799. And yes, it would be nice to have dies with the actual click adjustments and all that, so as you can do all this sort of thing immediately. I'd love that. Can't afford them. And Lee dies, I'll be honest with you, have never let me down. We are so close. 2.7935. By the way, anyone who just cringed when I dropped that round, it won't go off through being dropped like that. Calm it down, dudes. Lads and ladies. Let's measure that. 2.7905. Come on, you bugger. Yeah, so close. Temptation is when you get close like that, do another one and measure that. And it's not a bad idea when you get an average. 2.86, yeah, sorry, 2.786. I am going to leave that one there. I'm going to do another one now, see where that gets us. So, okay, always look in as well, just to make sure there's definitely powder in there. It's a basic check, but I'll be honest, accidents happen, and the last thing you want is to hear that horrible ting when just the primer goes off, and you sat there and you hold it in the chamber, you think, oh god, is it a hang fire, what is it? And it's because you didn't put, yeah, see, look at that, 2.815. That's the problem with using overall length, because the tips will vary. So I'm going to do another one. If this next one is under, then I will wind it back a bit, but at the thous we're talking about now, that's not going to make a huge amount of difference. The important thing is the base to ogive, which is what the comparator is for. The ogive is the part of the bullet that is actually at the diameter, which part of the bullet that actually engages with the rifling. That's the important part. And that is what the die is seating. It's not seating against the head, it's seating against the ogive, pushing that in. That's something important. That's the most important measurement. Overall length, because of the tips varying and all that, really doesn't matter. 2.935. Yes, we are all over the place with these. So because it's so varied, I'm going to do quite a few, and then I'm going to take an average. That's what I always do. Come on. Oh, that one's a stiff one. We'll find that sometimes. You have one case that's a bit more resistance than the others. 2.787. Yeah, I do think it needs winding down. Check. Yeah, definitely powder in that bad boy. The other one to do, when you've finished loading them all, hold them up to your ear and rattle. If you can hear powder swishing about, it's a pretty good bet there's powder in there. Whether there's too much or too little, you ain't going to tell that from your ear, but you might hear a slight difference. 2.785. I mean, really, to be honest, for tip variants, that's not bad. I've seen worse from Lapua heads. Okay. 0.79, yeah. I think we just had one particularly short one. Okay. 2.792. God, this battery's really getting low now. Okay. Something to watch out for with these Lee dies, or any dies to be honest, don't ever wind it down so it completely touches the shell holder, because if you do that, it will actually start to compress the case and you'll end up with a bulge here. You will hear that if that happens, because when you pull the case out of the die, you'll hear a pop noise because it's created a vacuum in there, or it could actually have pressurized the air and that's what's popping. But yeah, you will hear it and then you will see it. For God's sake, don't try and stick that in your rifle. Yeah, just don't. All right, really. You'll have to use a kinetic hammer and pull it apart. 2.7785, so that's a short one. That's where I start wishing I'd put the short. I think that was a short one there. Shorties and the longies together. Okay. Didn't do it. There we go, official check here. .784. So that's pretty damn close to what it should be. You can just see that crimping. 2.7895. Now hopefully that variance shows you why I don't like using the overall length method and why the base to ogive method is better. But I will admit, if you don't have that initial base to ogive measurement, then overall length is better than nothing. Now, this is the use of the comparator. So you pop it onto your vernier, you zero with it on there, pull it out and get your round, put in, there we go. We have got, what have we got? 2.1965. Now, I started off saying about doing overall length. I have got a round that I measured the BTO on that the gun particularly liked. I mean, it was shooting sub-MOA with that, which is the, what was it? Triple G NRA match 155 gram. That's a good round, very good round. So here we go, 2.1965, and the measurement of that round averaged out at 2.195. So I'm going to get another one. This is where we see the consistency or not of the Lee hand press. 2.193, so 2 thou difference. No, 3 thou, what am I talking about? 2.198, 7 even. Sorry, you didn't see that, did you? It's me doing it for myself, not showing you. 2.1965. 2.1965. Oh, is that there? No, 2.194. That's 2 thou. 2.196, half a thou. Yeah, we're not doing too badly, really. 2.195. And in the background, you will shortly hear someone having a wee wee. 2.196. I tell you what, sorry, 2.196. Not bad, is it? Come on. Come on. Oh. 2.1995. Well, that's interesting. Why is that one so much longer? Put that one to one side. Okay. 2.1965. That's not bad, is it, for something that you're operating with your hands? You know, it's a good bit of kit. This is. It is a good bit of kit. I like it. I really do like this thing. Yeah, it's good. Very good. Filmed this a bit out of sequence, hence there being stuff out that wasn't out and stuff in that, you know. Anyway, never mind. I'm sure it doesn't offend you too much. Your tumbler when you finish. Tumbler. I've got a tumbler again. Idiot. Never mind. Your powder trickler. When you're finished. Right. Do a tip. Out like that. Then tip the powder. Like so. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm using a different powder now for the next batch of rounds. Tip it out. And then what you've got to do is, yep, I'm going on the floor, tip out the spout again. Because for some reason you get powder in it again. And the actual bowl, there we go. Right, I'm confident there's no more powder in that. The last thing you want to do is be mixing your powders, especially if you've just used pistol powder and then you're putting it into a rifle powder. Don't mix your powders. Ideally, don't have 2 bottles out at the same time. Just keep an eye on it, and don't, whatever you do, pour, like this is N120, don't go pouring it into your N135 bottle by accident. Just be vigilant on that point. I know I said don't stress, or I think I say it later on in the video, filmed it out of sequence. Don't stress, but at the same time, don't be silly. There we go, that is empty. So I'll give the old funnel a tap, just in case there's any static. No, we're good. Lid on. I've got N120 on the lid, N120 on the label. This is so when I go into my powder box, straight away see N120, grab the right one. Because the next job involves N135. I'm sure you don't want to watch it all over again, so back to the other video. Other video? What the fuck are you talking about, idiot? Never mind. Whoa! This is why I hate doing that sort of thing. That's why I've got an actual bullet holder over there. 10 rounds loaded up. The gun will absolutely love those. So, base to ogive. If you've got something to go off of, great. If not, go with the overall length. Because, to be honest, provided you average it out and think to yourself, right, where can I be with that? Yeah, you should be pretty good. Just measure it and always look out for pressure signs. When you fire the first round, take the case, extract it, catch it. Always catch your cases if you're a reloader. Look for where the primer strike is. See if the primer has extruded out. Almost looks like a little volcano, a little crater that comes out. Look on the actual head where the writing is. Look if you can see an indent from the extractor and the ejector, anything like that that's on the head. Look and see if it's dented the head. Was the bolt difficult to lift? Was it difficult to pull back? Was there any resistance? Did the gun feel excessively snappy? Was there a big cloud of smoke came out of the barrel? Did the round go far higher than the factory stuff that you've been using? Or indeed, did it go far lower than any factory stuff? All stuff you need to look at. If you pull out the case and it just looks like a fired case, good to go. Carry on. Don't overthink it. Don't panic, because a lot of people panic about reloading. They think it's some sort of magical mystery thing that only mystics and bards and, I don't know, stuff can do. Don't. It's cool. All right? Calm it down. It's cool. It's cool. What do I sound like? Just keep it calm. Pay attention, but don't stress. Because the moment you stress, you make mistakes. You know, chill out. Thanks for watching. Hope it was useful. I'm going to do a series on this. It's a bit out of sequence because we jump straight to actual loading. I'm going to do one on case prep. If anyone's interested in that, I'm going to do one on full-length sizing. And I'm going to do one, hopefully, at the range if I can get away with filming and no one sees me do it, because they don't like me filming there. Just showing how the different rounds, how they react, what sort of group size you get from it. Which, if people are interested, please drop a comment. If people think that video was absolute shit, don't do any more, comment that as well. Tell me what you didn't like. I'll improve it for next time. Right, cheers, bye.